What you do immediately after sex tells me a lot about who you are as a lover. You know, a lot of guys forget that the time immediately after sex is as important, actually almost more important than any technique you could ever use during sex itself. And what you do immediately after sex lets a woman know if she wants to have sex with you again. So it's a really important tool that you've got to get right if you plan on having an amazing sex life and a strong, intimate relationship. And there's one really, really important piece that most people forget, which is that foreplay starts immediately after your two sweaty bodies fall apart from each other and you lay in your post-orgasmic glow. The minute that you get up from that glow is when foreplay starts before the next session. I don't care if it's 20 minutes or 20 days later. So in this video right here, I'm going to teach you exactly what to do after you are finished with your roll in the sheets, your horizontal tango, your boot knocking, bumping uglies, although I don't think that's fair. I think genitals are not ugly, they're amazing. I'm gonna show you exactly what to do, a step-by-step guide to make sure that you are meeting your lady's needs and getting invited back into her bed again and again and again, whether that's the bed that you share with her and have shared for 20 years, or it's a new bed that you're exploring for the first time. Stay tuned. You know, it is a trope, but it's not entirely unfair. Guys, you are guilty of wrapping up sex, rolling over, and snoring within 20 seconds of being done. And quite frankly, this can leave your partner feeling abandoned, even used. You know, there's those little like shame gremlins that start to crawl up that's like, he was just using you for sex the whole time. You're a dirty slut, just like your Grandma June used to say. I'm joking, but only slightly. You see, rolling over and abandoning your partner immediately after sex can start to sow the seeds of doubt in your relationship. It can really make your partner wonder if she means something to you, if sex was close and meaningful and connected. Remember that every time that women have sex, we are climbing an uphill battle against all the conditioning that we ever got throughout our entire lives that told us that we shouldn't want it, shouldn't do it, shouldn't give it up, etc. Even if we're married, even if we have children, it doesn't matter. Beyond that, we're vulnerable. All of us, men too. I mean, I'm speaking about this in gendered terms, but I'm kind of painting with a broad brush here. Women feel vulnerable after sex because we've let you into our body, but men feel vulnerable after sex because they've been exposed, especially if they have any erectile difficulty or premature ejaculation. Sex is a really vulnerable place no matter who you are. And so having aftercare, after you've sort of like opened yourself up and had this vulnerable experience, then having the sweet, loving touch of a cuddle or whatever else it is that you need, we'll get into that in just a second, is a beautiful and amazing way to get closure after this expanding experience. I remember once I was dating a guy who would regularly roll over and go to sleep immediately after sex. At best, he would get up and run to the bathroom and then come back and roll over and go to sleep, not even facing me, like literally back to me the other direction. And when I confronted him about it, he was like, cool, got it, I understand, you need cuddling. So the next time that we had sex, afterward, he like wrapped his entire body around me. He almost had me like in a chokehold. I felt like I couldn't get away, I couldn't breathe. It was actually worse than him ignoring me. So there is definitely a fine line. Cuddling, connecting, being there with your partner after sex is an art as well as a science. And let me tell you what, that relationship with him did not last long because he just couldn't really read the tea leaves. And I had a hard time communicating to him exactly what it was that I wanted was somewhere in the middle. There was like a sweet spot in between totally ignoring me and crushing me with undesired amount of physical intensity cuddle. You see, no matter what the exact recipe for your partner is, affectionate after sex behavior promotes the well-being of your relationship. You see, showing the woman that you've just had sex with genuine affection shows that you care about her, that you truly care and appreciate the radical act of openness and vulnerability and exposure that she has just shared with you. It really shows that you honor that sex is more than just bumping uglies, knocking boots, etc. It's actually the opportunity for your two souls to connect on a deeper level. And when you give her genuine affection, even if that's from a distance, even if it's close and cuddly, it shows her that you are not just with her in order to get your rocks off or using her for sex like her dad warned her all the guys out there would, but instead that you really genuinely care for her and appreciate the experience that you shared together. According to Psychology Today, a 2014 study showed that those couples who engage in a longer duration of post-sex affection like snuggling or caressing reported greater sexual satisfaction, which translated to higher ratings of relationship satisfaction. Add to that a lot of couples who are married, live together, have children, busy lives, careers, etc., the time for a post-coital snuggle is even more important, or at least a post-coital connection, because sex is deeply connecting. Making time for sex is really important, and making a little bit extra time to kind of seal that off. Honor the space, sex is special, it's vital, it's important, it's kind of sacred. Even if you have like rough, quickie sex, spending a moment or two afterward just appreciating each other is vital. Now, here's something that's really, really interesting and actually kind of contradicts some of the stuff that I just said, because hey, sex is complicated. Who knew? 50 videos, 100 videos, 1,000 emails later, it doesn't seem to be getting any easier. I don't know that I've actually solved any problems by creating this YouTube channel. If anything, I have opened up more problems than I even knew existed. Well, they're not problems, opportunities. Make sure you're subscribed, because I'm going to keep coming up with new sex problems and new solutions to old sex problems, and you're going to want to be here to see those. There is a stereotype about women that we all need a good cuddle immediately after sex in order to feel safe and happy and healthy in our relationship. There's a little bit of truth to that, but here's what some researchers found out. Actually, it's when women reach orgasm and have a pleasurable sexual experience, they actually care less and need aftercare less than when they don't have a good sexual, pleasurable, and orgasmic experience. In other words, if they have an orgasm, then the after sex care doesn't matter as much. I'm not saying it doesn't matter at all, but basically you're good to kind of take some liberty with that. You can connect just by saying like, hey babe, good job. If she doesn't have an orgasm, that's when she really needs that snuggle. In other words, she needs to feel connected to you and pleased by the sexual experience. Either that comes in the experience itself via an orgasm, or it comes after intercourse in the form of connected snuggling. If you've ever heard a woman say, I don't really care if I get off, I just care that the sex is good for you, or I just want to connect with you, this is a perfect example of what that actually means in practice. She wants to connect with you. She's okay if that happens immediately after sex, but what is not okay is if it doesn't happen at all. She puts up with mediocre sex, and then you roll over and go to sleep, leaving her feeling both used and disconnected. And if you are concerned at all that this has ever happened to you even once, don't feel bad, but do immediately go and check out my course, She Comes Too, which is all about guaranteeing that female orgasm and has an entire module subsection on aftercare, because honestly guys, this really is an art, and if you nail it, she is going to want to continue to have sex with you again and again. And if you've been married for a long time and your sex life has sort of fizzled, making sure that you provide excellent aftercare is one of the best ways to guarantee that sex is going to happen again sooner rather than later. Basically, moral of the story is that if you make her come, then you can do whatever you want for aftercare. You can salute her and pour yourself a glass of whiskey. You can throw on your favorite track and dance around in the living room, or you can begin your snore and drool routine. Hey, I'm not making fun of anyone. I myself am prone to falling asleep at super inappropriate times, often with a cat on top of me. This is my life. So no matter how good sex was, even if you gave her 12 back-to-back explosive orgasms, but she ever had, it's still good practice to be emotionally there for her after sex, especially since orgasms can be really intense emotional experiences for women and for men. So here is how to be a true gentleman, an amazing lover, and someone who makes his woman feel amazing after sex. Number 1 tip for immediate aftercare is to clean up. In order to truly relax and feel very comfortable in your space, it is important for you to feel like you are not sticky, covered in bodily fluids. I mean, sometimes that can be fun. Like most of the time, some amount of cleanup feels really good and allows us to totally relax and feel like we can just dissolve into a mushy puddle of love. My favorite way to clean up is with these Royal body wipes. They come in both an individual packet and in a container that has multiple packets, less trash. And I personally keep these next to my bed at all times because they are super handy. You just rip them open, wipe down, and then you are good to let the cuddle session begin. I should note, people who have vulvas, this does not replace going to the bathroom. You still gotta get up and go to the bathroom or else risk getting a dreaded UTI like me at least 11 times a year throughout my early 20s. Not pretty, not cool, avoid it, go to the bathroom, and then use one of these bad boys to clean yourself up so that you can fully relax. Also, they're really discreet. They just say body wipe. Also, take a moment to clean up any empty condom wrappers or any other trash, like get the lube bottle off the bed or whatever. Like, take a moment to just reset the space. I swear, for some of us, that stuff really matters and it will be appreciated. That was number one, clean up. Number two, kiss her slowly. Research shows that men are more likely to initiate kissing before sex and women are more likely to initiate kissing after sex. So go ahead and take the initiative, dudes. Give her a good, slow, deep kiss. I swear to God, do not let me catch you giving her a little peck on the cheek. She is not your grandmother. She's the woman that you just banged. And if you were inside of her, you can kiss her for at least like 7 seconds, okay? Like, let's just count. Kiss, oh, meter, you can do it. It will be appreciated. Number three, communicate your appreciation, love, and gratitude. Tell her that you love her, which you don't have to use those exact words if y'all's relationship is not at that level just yet. There's a whole bunch of ways to let her know how much you appreciate her. That was amazing. I am completely blown away by you. You are the hottest thing I have ever seen. You're the most sexy and glamorous and incredible woman I have ever laid eyes upon. Or a good old thank you. That was wonderful. I love you. I, 9 times out of 10, turn and thank my partner every time we make love because the process of it is so sweet and tender and epic. And I know that he is trying so hard to please me and quite frankly successful at it. And so I say thank you because I appreciate how much time, intention, intensity, and energy he has shared with me, and I am extending that gratitude to him. And if you've watched my other video on gratitude, you know that gratitude leads to your partner being more likely to care about your sexual needs. So honestly, it's a win-win. It connects you and them in that moment, and it makes them more likely to want to meet your sexual needs in the future. Number 4, talk about the sex that you just had. I cannot overstate this one enough. It is so important to do a wins, insights, learnings, celebrations section after sex. It helps to reinforce the good things about sex. It reminds you of all the hot things that happen that you may have otherwise forgotten, and it reduces the likelihood that you're gonna suffer from any of those shame gremlins telling you anything bad or shameful, or when we're engaged in sex, our brain goes into this place where we're willing to do stuff that we might not otherwise have been willing to do. And so we may come down and kind of experience a dip in our mood. We'll talk about that in just a moment, immediately after sex. And so doing the play-by-play of what was really hot, what was really appreciated, what really worked for you, what really did it, can help to keep those shame gremlins at bay, and will also let you know what she liked and what you liked so that you can make sure to do more of that next time. Remember that sex opens up a unique space flushed with oxytocin and endorphins, and it's easier for couples to open up, have trusting, deep, intimate, and vulnerable conversations immediately after sex. Now, this isn't universally true, but I have found anecdotally that the time immediately after a really great romp in the sheets is an epic time to get vulnerable, to get real, and to communicate about stuff that maybe otherwise feels a little challenging to talk about. Remember, this is not the time to be critical. This is the time to say really wonderful celebratory stuff. Number 5, don't expect any particular reaction. Like I said, sometimes people have a big emotional drop immediately after sex. They can cry, they can feel very intense amounts of emotion. Just let her know that whatever comes up for her is okay, and you're gonna be there appreciating and loving her regardless. Number 6, don't fall asleep right away. According to a recent study by evolutionary psychologists at the University of Michigan and Albright College, the tendency to fall asleep first after sex is associated with greater partner desire for bonding and affection. In other words, if you fall asleep immediately after sex, it is more likely that your partner is going to desire bonding and feel like affection is lacking. The antidote to this is just to stay awake a little bit longer and engage in a conversation about the kind of after-sex care that she wants. You are more likely to please her just by staying awake a few minutes, because when you fall asleep, you're essentially pulling yourself out of the situation. So stay awake, wrap your arms around her, smell her hair, give her a little neck massage, whatever it takes to stay awake for just a few extra minutes. Number 7, of course, is cuddling, which is amazing. Spending a few extra minutes breathing in each other's scents and pheromones increases the feelings of bonding and sexual satisfaction for both partners. But what if your woman is the one who doesn't want to snuggle or kiss or chat after sex? Listen, there's no such thing as normal. We're all just on a continuum here, and sometimes that's not what we're into. Perfectly okay. But if it is something that you really need to feel that closeness, speak your needs. Tell her that you're okay with respecting her boundaries, but these are what you need after sex. You need her to maybe give you light touchies on your arm, or give you some snuggles and kisses on your neck. Whatever makes you feel whole and complete and safe and satisfied after sex is important. And make sure to ask her the same. What are the things that she needs after sex to feel really, really fulfilled? In summary, couples who snuggle, kiss, and pillow talk after sex are more likely to report relationship and sexual satisfaction, and they're more likely to want to have sex with you again. If you found this helpful, make sure you give this video a like and that you're subscribed to my channel. Check out my course, She Comes Too, to make sure that not only does she have tons of orgasms during sex, but that you know exactly how to please her after sex too, so that you can have more sex more often and make it more enjoyable. My name is Caitlin B. I'll see you here next week. Bye.